Hi, in today's video, we will look into one important tool which has been an important development in the area of organizational performances. It's basically related to the technological applications being used in various organizational operations and functions. Specifically, these technological operation applications in the case of human resources have been highly rampant in the organizations in today, and they have been highly supportive, highly being used at a large level in order to come out with the most sophisticated HR decisions. So that tool is the human resources information tool. Actually, why it has become so important is that if we just look into the way human resource functions operates, no, the way it operates indicates that the human resources have been an important source for an organization. So it becomes important that you manage people in the organization in a very most efficient and effective manner. So to do that, you require good information, on-time, accurate information. So for for that sake, information becomes very critical for HR function, so that so that these people complexity can be managed in a very better, in a very efficient and effective manner. So what kind of information that supports or makes HR function more effective is that we come across a lot of information gets being generated, being stored, assessed, analyzed, and being used at the HR level, and a variety of employee qualifications. Informations include a variety of employee qualifications, different levels of contract terms being happening at the employment level, then the kind of attendance policies you can take, you can think of health and safety issues which are being drawn by the HR people for the organization. And one of the most complex thing that happens is that of compensation system and the performance appraisal aspects. These are all require most advanced level of information system, so that HR manager can have an information accurate, right on time information to make good decisions. So sophisticated information systems from that point of view have become a very important part there. So this importance has risen to such a level that HR functions can be done in a more faster, in a more accurate, and in a more productive way. Now, this in turn indicates that this in turn indicates that uh, HR function can be an important competitive advantage, and that actually not just a competitive advantage, it can be an important sustainable competitive advantage for the organization, right? So the information system which an HR department uses has become an important part of strategy making, become an important part of overall organizational strategy. It actually emerged as at the initial stages. If you see, it was basically an maintenance function, but it has emerged very quickly into a very strategic uh, element for the organizational planning or organizational decision making, or even say you can overall organizational strategy making. So a human resource information system has in that sense has become an important part, and it has been an important part from the point of view of management information systems as a sub function uh, within the personal area, right? So it is a very, from that sense, it is a very important strategic tool. for any organization so that they can have an effective human resources function, or you can say manage people efficiently by having a good HR information system. So what this human resources information system, or HRIS, we can define it as a software, or in a more technical terms, or in a more apparent way, as a software or an online solution for the data entry or data tracking and data information needs for the sake of human resources, for the sake of payroll management and accounting functions within a business. In a more generic terms, we can think HRIS as an IT system which is used to gather, store, control, analyze, and retrieve data to provide timely and accurate reports on human resources area in the organization. So it's basically an IT backed up system or information technology based system, so that data can be managed in terms of its gathering, storing, uh, retrieving, analyzing, and controlling, so that HR managers can have on time accurate information in terms of timely and accurate reports. Now, for that system to operate properly, there needs to, the department or the function needs to have a good have a good database. So a database is built on particular requirements. So information needs of the organization define what kind of data requirements have to be met with. So the kind of information requirement for the HR function tells exactly what the data required for HR database. Right. Now, this there we can think of, we can have from the HR point of view, we can look into uh, data requirements and can tell that there are two types of data that are needed for a typical business organization. One is employee data and organizational data. Here, the two scholars, Pilbeam and Corbridge, have identified what kind of employee data and organizational data that an organization can have. So, according to them, the individual data, employee data, that can be included are these things like personal details, contractual agreements, pay and pension details, benefits, employee benefits, education and qualifications, skills and competencies, appraisal records and ratings, job details and employee progression, various individual employee data, all sorts of individual employee data can form an HR data here. And then the organizational data for the HR purpose might be in terms of organizational structure, the departmental details, then the job analysis reports, job analysis details, job grades and pay structures of each jobs, cost centers, what kind of cost centers the HR function might have. So then the range of contracts uh, that happens within the organization or HR function, or with not only within or across the other functions with the HR function. All these might be organizational level data. So these data needs to be properly periodically revived, reviewed, so that the constant changes that may occur in the organization, can be easily accommodated in the overall information system. So a periodical review of data should be conducted so that to meet the changes that the changes in the needs and requirements of the information age. So this review will make sure that the information system keep afloat, and the required information reaches to the concerned uh, entity or element in the organization. So these changes have to be captured and used as an input to the system as soon as those changes happen. Right? Now, how does this? These were the information requirements for having a good HR data, and this HR data can be on an overall information system, can be used as an overall information system in order to manage overall HR function. So a different level of applications or benefits we can see with such kind of system designing uh, from the kind of data that is generated. So, and applications in terms of applications of HR information can be used into various aspects of HR function, either be resourcing or in a simple way managing the people in the organization, right? So uh, that in turn facilitates the that usage of HR information, or you can say the overall information system backed HR function can facilitate a better decision making process and allows HR operations to be properly evaluated, compared, and assessed. Now, where and all these can be applied in a host of HR functions, the overall human resources information system can be applied there. Now, if you take up the case of human resources planning, no, HR people need to have a good idea of how jobs, the overall job labor market going on both internally as well as externally. What are the job profiles? Need to build a overall employee profiles, and through them need to assess when vacancies might occur, and what kind of external job market is what is the kind of external job market which is available outside, and how we can meet the requirements as and when they arise. They need to be planned in advance, so that you have a human resources planning system. So that planning system, to make a plan, you need to have an information so that can assist the planning process, as well as the decisions involved in that planning process. So you need to have information, so that if you need to have a good planning, good HR plan, if you need to have a good decisions within those HR plans, then you need to have a good information about labor turnover, like information about workforce profiling, information about employee skills, audit. So all these facilitate HR planning. Now, if you look into another function like recruitment and selection, no, it even very easily we can easily identify that the present systems, technologies are very much helping HR managers to screen the applications what they might be receiving. So computerized systems are helping the hiring process in that case. Not just screening, even identifying various aspects in terms of the criteria, job criteria, and the applicants details. So those can be easily assessed, and you can carry out recruitment and selection with a little bit in a more cost effective manner. You don't need to spend more time in assessing the applicants there. So a quality HR services can also be considered with the use of proper HR in HRIS. If you take up another HR function like pay and rewards, there also, now if you, now this is one of the little bit most complicated area where different levels of pay systems are there, and they are so complicated that identifying different things or different grades of the people, different grades, and adding to that, you need to comply with a lot of rules and regulations. So you need to have a good salary profile reports. So in different way, like experienced, newly joined in, and even if you look into the one aspect like gender aspect, wherein you can look into the equal opportunity kind of thing. So taking up such kind of decisions becomes very easy in case if you have a proper information system, and though that information captures all the data and sets it in such a manner that you can easily identify any loopholes in terms of salary profiles, right? So things, even you can look into things like market pay rates also. Are you giving more than the market pay rate, or you are on par with the market pay rate, or you are paying lesser compared to the market pay rates? So you can analyze these things. You can store a lot of, you need to store a lot of market information, and try to get the posture, market posture of your organization. Now, even the system can be used to prepare information like pay negotiations, so that you can have a proper relationship with your trade unions. So, so a complex system becomes so easy. Now, another such kind of complex system is performance management. There also you need to have a good data management system, wherein performance of various category of employees need to be captured, stored, assessed, and analyzed, so that everyone are in their target levels, everyone are achieving their, or giving their contributions. So you need to measure their performance. So HRIS can do those things. It can store and analyze such performance targets information. It can measure, no, it can have information about the measures of that performance, so that you can assess that if there are any things that can be missed. So good performance can be rewarded, and bad performance need to be cross-checked, so that you can uh, look for further developmental areas for those where performance is lacking. Now, other area which is highly used, which is very considerable for human resources information system, is the training and development area. So identifying training needs have been a very important area for all HR functions in the organizations today. Now, how do you assess those training needs? You need to have an information. You need to assess training needs in a proper manner. You need to understand how training is happening. You need to understand the level of training being delivered to the employees, new employees, the present employees. Why do you look for the present employees? It's very simple, that you need to make your employees upskilled according to the changes in the environment. So you need to look into various information with regard to the training part. Things like, that information might include things like employee training needs and requirements, as I've told initially. Then actual training undertaken about what, when, why, and how often training programs are conducted, and their results, for the cost allocated for the training. Now, what, and based on this information, what should be the future aspects of the training, and what should be the forward planning for the training, as well as the work for competencies, right? So these all things have a very strong implications in the way you maintain information for your training and development function of your HR department. No, no, it actually uh, it actually can be uh, managed in a way that you can store uh, this information, you can process, and this information can be processed, and this information can then be assessed against the organizational objectives. So you can cross check various important aspects, and you can think of various developmental programs, various training requirements, or the changes in the organization can also be considered through these training and development programs, and that can be very effectively backed up by the information system which you develop for your human resources. The other one more you can say more complicated or complex area where human resources system can be very handy is that the, managing the employee relations. So HRIS can be very beneficial in the management of employment relations. It's like you are trying to look into the employee relations data from the point of view of the kind of rules and regulations you have in the organization, the kind of disciplinary issues that have been handled. All this data might lead to no, the analysis of all this data may identify or give you an indication of what kind of problems that are there that are there, so that employees are becoming dissatisfied. So any kind of such issues, so you can get those indications. So those common problems can be considered, and those common problems can be considered, and you can design or come out with good rule HR policies so that employee relations can be improved, right? So these are some areas, and even a large other areas are there where HR function can be greatly benefited with the human resources information system. And it isn't that it is not recognized in the organizations, it is also that such kind of high sophisticated technological information systems have been in practice in the organizations currently. And companies have these, you can get examples of the kind of HR policies, most advanced HR policies, uh, or you can say most advanced best practices, HR best practices can be seen among those companies who have adopted such high information systems in their HR function, right? So this is a kind of functional or operational backup that can be had for your HR function, right? So this is all about for this video, guys. So uh, next class we'll look into the other important topic. So till then, bye bye. Thank you for watching.